Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Monty and I am absolutely obsessed with being happier. I'm also almost equally obsessed with making sure that you're feeling happier. I'm a life coach, personal trainer, helping people with nutrition, just all of the things that help people to feel better on the inside and the outside and have better lives. Today, what I want to talk about is stopping arguing with people. I don't know about you, but I spent a lot of time in my life needing to be right, being a perfectionist, worrying about what people thought about me. And it's taken so many years, so much self-development, so much training and coaching, banging my head against a wall and living miserably. That's not what I want for you. The problem with arguing is that I think it's a complete waste of time. Nobody ever wins an argument. If you do win an argument, generally the other person is resentful and that doesn't benefit you in the end. It doesn't benefit me in the end. If you're resentful towards me, eventually that's going to affect me, even if it's just the energy coming at me. Another thing, arguing causes stress. I spend so much time meditating and doing affirmations. I don't have any time to come up against extra stress. Arguing messes with our productivity. After I walk away from an argument, there's a lot of stress hormones that have been released. When I'm in a stressed out state, I'm not in the bliss state that I want to be able to create things. It's taking my creativity, it's stressing me out, and nobody ever really wins an argument. Why are we like this? We're like this because we're trained to argue. When you go to school, you're always trying to prove your point. In the media, we have all kinds of things teaching us that arguing is how people get along. We've got housewives, we've got all kinds of reality TV. There's always conflict on these shows. I'm a Gen Xer, we had Jerry Springer, and you haven't seen it. There's always some kind of conflict going to happen. Somebody was always getting punched or hit with a chair on that show. They even had security people that were literally part of the staff that would come out and break up fights every single time. So we're taught to argue with people. It gets into our families. You might have watched your parents argue. If you watched your parents argue a lot, you may have picked up that habit yourself. Sometimes we don't even realize that we've got the habit. So what's the solution to all of this arguing? I bring it down to two words. Who cares? It took me a long time to get there. What do I mean when I say who cares? Shouldn't we be caring what people say about us? Shouldn't we be caring what people are thinking? But Monty, I'm right. Who cares? It took me so long to get to this place. One of the things that I'm searching for is peace, because peace equals happiness. When I'm feeling peaceful, I'm in a good mood. So how can we get to this place of not taking everything personally? What does it take to get here? Number one, it takes a decision. You get to decide that you want to be happy. You get to decide that you want to live without stress, and you get to decide that you want peace in your life. How can we actually do that? One way we can do that is when somebody says something confrontational, pause. You can take an internal breath. Depending on where you're at, maybe you can take a real breath. And so that way you don't react, you respond. Somebody may be upset about something and they might be speaking to you in a way that feels confrontational because they're agitated. That doesn't mean that you also have to be agitated. You don't have to meet that energy. You can hold your line and respond in a way that feels good to you. If you pause, you'll say something that you're actually in control of versus coming from a reaction. Many times this stops the argument right there. Then you get to decide, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? But Monty, I am right. I know you're right. I know you're right. But you can't always be right and be happy. It just doesn't work. So one example from my own life, when I post things online, I don't generally draw in a lot of people that want to argue with me because I'm just not giving off that vibe. But every once in a while I do. I remember specifically I had posted a post, this was for my personal training part of the business, about working with busy corporate women. Usually they need an appointment to show up for their health or they're not going to do it. So anyway, I'd done an ad and I thought it was very thoughtful. Many people responded well, but I did have one guy that came on and said that I was mansplaining. I don't remember the rest of the comment. It was mildly confrontational, but I did not feel triggered at all because I didn't believe it was true. And I did check it. I ran it through a friend of mine who's a really intelligent woman, said, hey, would you read this and tell me if it feels like I'm mansplaining to you? She said, no, Monty, don't worry about it. I didn't actually know this person, or I might have had a side conversation, but instead I don't know him. I don't know if he wants to argue. So I made the choice to just go and unfriend him and then delete the comment. I just didn't want the energy around me. I know a lot of other people feel like It's their job to educate people. Somebody that's leaving a comment directly like that feels confrontational to me, and I am not interested in getting involved in that. Closing thoughts. Decide, breathe, pause, and respond instead of react. Here's something that I heard that it took me a while to actually take this one in because it felt confrontational, and maybe it will feel the same way to you, but I'm going to offer it up. And it's a saying from a spiritual teacher. I can't remember who it's from. The quote is, "What you think of me is none of my business." And what that means to me is that, like, you're gonna have an opinion about me. I'm gonna have an opinion about you. I have good tact thoughts all the time against other people and against myself. I don't have to believe every thought that I have, so therefore I don't have to believe every thought that you have. And we all are entitled to our opinion. This is how I have stopped arguing with people. And I'm not gonna argue with you. I don't need to be right about this. You might think I'm crazy. That's totally fine. That is your right. Go off and be blessed. Thank you, friend, for tuning in. Click here to see my next video and go out and do something loving for yourself today.